My name is Ari Horie, founder of the Women's Startup Lab. We're located in Silicon Valley, Menlo Park, one of the expensive property here in the Valley, but we're surrounded by all the investor VCs, so we're in the heart of Silicon Valley. We've been running our program for 2 years and graduated over 40 female entrepreneurs, and believe it or not, we already have 5 batches. So we're really excited to see the group coming together, continue the relationship, and seeing some results. Currently, we run 2 weeks program as well as a 2 months program. And people around the world apply our program, and they actually stay here for 2 weeks or whatever the duration. Our tuition include housing and food, and we try to really provide a whole hands around, not just about your startup, but about you as a leader, you as a CEO, and how you continue to persevere for whatever you do to make your company successful. And today we have a special guest, Karen Kat, who have graduated our program. And it's been a privilege to know her for so long and seeing her success. But before she even come to our program, she had her own amazing, successful path. So, Karen, would you give us your background? And sorry for this is second time, but hey, we can always hear her success. So thanks.
So thank you so much for having me today, because I am a huge fan of Women's Startup Lab, and I was in the first cohort, and so I've been around a while. And actually, I'm a 5-time serial entrepreneur, and I have an IPO as well as a $300 million exit under my belt, as well as another one pending. And my current company, Playlist, is going to be the biggest one yet, thanks to a lot of support from Women's Startup Lab. And I joined the lab hoping to, network with other female entrepreneurs, because when I honestly started doing entrepreneurism back in the early 90s, there were even fewer female entrepreneurs. So it was such a joy to see organizations like this come together. And I really joined, again, hoping to just have a network of female entrepreneurs. And I just got so much more, and it keeps going.
And now you were mentioning of some of the investment opportunity, because yes, we want to be a great leader, we want to build a great company, but often people feel like funding is the most important things. And I've seen so many companies, I've talked to so many investors. At the end of the day, I always said, we invent founder.
Yeah.
So some of the, obviously, investment lead you got it through Women's Startup Lab.
Yeah.
If you could share that with us.
Sure.
And some of the personal growth
that
came with it.
So, I, again, came to Women's Startup Lab just for really stepping back. It was my 5th startup. I wanted to get some tools and techniques for, how do I relook at my 30-second pitch or 5-second pitch and get coached a bit, fine-tune my skills, meet some great women, and I would have been more than thrilled. But as a result of the lab's network, I ended up getting an angel investor and even my lead investor for my price round. So I was completely thrilled. And then, it's been a couple, gosh, how long has it been since your first cohort? It's been a while. Yeah. And just recently, through Women's Startup Lab, I met a partner that will potentially be huge for us to take Playlist to Japan. So I want to point out that, I got the coaching and the tuning, I got the women's network, I got investors, but I got this huge feeling of support. It's tough being a CEO, whether you're a male or a female, and you're the one that has to have all the answers and get the funding and give your team praise and recruit. But at the end of the day, that can be exhausting. And you can't just be your authentic self in business and feel like you have a support network. And we're constantly pitching and putting it out there. I found that Women's Startup Lab and all the people associated with it is a place where I could actually relax and be with like-minded women, share challenges, and get that emotional support to go forward each day and create even more success in my life. So that is, an intangible and priceless benefit as well.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. And one of the things is there's a lot of other Accelerator, and most of Accelerator give a certain amount of the cash and take, in return, they take a percentage of the company. And because they want to be your partner, our case is our mission is to see more women successful out in the world making a difference. So we're not looking at as you as just the investment material so that I can make money. That's not the model we have here. We look at as you succeeding, whether you're going to IPO or you're going to continue to have a great company, seeing more women in the world is our measurement of success. So we have a very unique approach. We have great mature companies, successful founder like Karen, who knows what to do with her startup, and looking for the network and the support and just the really being out there so she can really accelerate her growth. And we have an early stage company. It could be a first time entrepreneur getting traction in the market. So we support both early stage company. The most of the time they don't get any support or get in Accelerator, but we do accept those company because we all need the support in any stage of our startups growth. And so we do early stage as well as startups that are much further along, like Karen. And I think it's important that we pointed out, we're not like just another Accelerator. Our missions is to continue to support you above and beyond the program. So the program is great. Obviously, you apply, you go through it, whether 2 weeks or 2 months. It's really, you have to look at the lifelong friendship and support and a group of very, very high level influential people that we bring in so we can constantly have you be in the network. And recently, Karen's also coming back to connect with Phil Levin, the president of Evernote. We continue to bring a great advisor, and we continue to have alum to come back and continue to gain that sort of powerful access. Yeah.
It honestly did not end after my cohort. It just keeps going, and actually it's been getting better. Every time I speak with Ari and there's a new event, I mean, the events and the network is just getting stronger and stronger. And there's a real trend, I think, in Silicon Valley to start, and actually around the world, to start supporting women entrepreneurs, but there's not enough structure. And Women's Startup Lab provides a structure. So if there's a VC or a coach that really wants to give back and support women, this is the place you find it. I mean, I've been honestly for years trying to find like, who are the VCs or investors that really care about supporting women in addition to great companies. And it's hard to find. And Ari has pulled together an immense network of those people that, you have an advantage of being associated with Women's Startup Lab to have them all in one place at your fingertips. Otherwise, you'll spend months, years, I've been at this since the early 90s, trying to put together that network, and it's turnkey here at Women's Startup Lab, honestly.
Yeah, and we all have a personal journey to decide to start your startup, right? You have yours, I have mine, and all of you. I get it. You put yourself out there. Startup is not a little hobby. You really put everything online. And I tell people that my job is not educational company, maybe some level, but I said I work with people who has a dream. My job is to work with people's dream, and I take my job very seriously. And I take it serious to the point it's, again, beyond the program.
Absolutely.
Yeah. One of the things, what I do is the CEO of the Women's Startup Lab, we bring a people. Our program will never be where we are without so many people chipping their time, their network, their knowledge. And we have a very unique model, really astrology, bringing a people together to support each other. And you get so much of that. So it's not, you don't have to look at me to judge me. I'm just really a small piece of all the people that you get to have, like, they get to be behind you.
And honestly, whenever I had a question, I found an answer either through one of the other female entrepreneurs within my current cohort or within Ari's network and the network of Women's Startup Lab, whether it's the big picture, like I need someone to coach me for this big pitch event I'm doing, or I need someone to coach me on how to do Facebook ads. It's like both extremes, or I need to talk to investors that understand consumer mobile. Or I just need somebody to, give me feedback on my marketing plan. So it's like all of those questions that I had either when I was in the cohort or since I've graduated. I feel like I have, this dictionary, or this resource that I can go to and ask anything and get a positive response.
Yeah, and just some of the folks who's not in the Silicon Valley doesn't realize just the level, the richness of the resource is incredible. Mm-hmm. So, through 2 weeks, you'll be spending a time with us in just 2 weeks, over 100 hours, and you will go through over 50 supporter that support your program. So when you think about it, let's say we have a 7 company go through, you have 50 people going through. It's like a little bit overkill, right? It's
great.
Really overwhelming. But really what I go through is spend every day. I hustle for you and hustle out there to bringing people that it takes years, well, maybe exaggerating, but it takes about 7-8 months of really following up and really finding a network introduction to get to the people that I bring in.
I don't think yours is exaggerating because, even though I had been through 5 startups, networks evolve and change, and you need to constantly be rebuilding your networks. People move on, people move away. The dynamics of investing changes. So, when I was raising money for a company that I started in '99, that was when you could go to Kleiner Perkins or Sequoia or Excel, and they were doing, smaller investments. Now you have to be way down the growth curve to meet those kind of people. So I had to reset my whole strategy for raising money. It's like I couldn't call on those people. There's this whole new ecosystem that's developed of angels and seed investors. And Women's Startup Lab, launched me into that. So, it's always evolving. I'm going to come back to another cohort, I'm sure, if I do another startup, or I'll be here to support women in the cohorts to come. So It's really a very fast track way to get your network set up, feel supported emotionally, and have all the tools you need to be successful.
Yeah, and I understand the early stage startup, but we always try to thrive in extreme condition. No money, no time, no support, while raising, kids in my right hand, left hand, and throwing, while they're in the air, I'm tinkering my startup, and it's just crazy. And so, I committed myself to give back hours for you, whatever that you can, so you can work on your startup. And every person you meet in the Silicon Valley here or through Women's Startup Lab, consider every single person as your investor. They're investing time for you, invest in their network. And there's so many people are actually hidden angels. So, every person, they look like just an instructor, but they were a serial entrepreneur. They were angel. They won't say that, but they are actually. So, many of our graduates have that kind of opportunity. So it seems short, it goes really fast, but it's just afterwards wave of support is just incredible. So you as a startup bootstrap founder, you kind of get a hammer. I couldn't afford the power tool. So I'm going to have a hammer and build the house. I'm going to work hard and stay up late, and I show you that I'm a hard worker so that I have a hammer. And then when you come here, we basically give you all this power tool.
Right.
We can't make your company. We can't make you successful. We can't build your startup, but we can give you those tools. So if you think of that as a power tool, warehouse here, and they're just eager.
You can build your house a lot faster and not burn out, honestly.
Yeah, and some of the great company, great founder, they might be early stage, let's say, but because they were found by some of the very influential people. So you could try hard to win every step of the way, or you actually been discovered and then they have pulled you up to the much higher level. And that kind of acceleration happened quite a bit when you associate an organization like ours.
In general, I'm sure all you entrepreneurs know that, an idea is only as good as your ability to execute, get it funded, and grow. And I think, the Valley especially is full of incredible ideas, but only certain companies stand out. And I think Women's Startup Lab clearly helps you stand out, especially in times when there's just so much going on, right? You feel like you've got this extra competitive advantage by being part of this.
Yeah, yeah, it's great to be around. I just want to check in the time, Krista. How are we doing on time?
I think we're good.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So just to quickly just go through the program, what we do is when you come in, we do a 360 startup assessment. When you were in, we didn't do, but now we bring the group of serial entrepreneur and investor in one room, and you go in and they hack you through whatever you're doing. It's not time for you to show off saying I got it all, but actually you get to say, this is the problem. I'm falling apart this part. This is closed, confidential, safe environment where you bear it all. And after you present and we do a Q&A session, you leave the room. Because if you get a feedback right there, then we're all human. And I know many advisors get too polite. And so what we do is to take you out, and then they give you, well, we have a closed door discussion of what each founder should focus. Then you come back, and this is the basis of the first 24 hours of 360 assessment that we do, based on that you go through our program, because otherwise you get so much advice, so much direction, and at the end of the day, we had some founder felt like, I got so much great advice, but I don't know what to do tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So we structure this in a way that you leave with a solid milestone, solid focus, and then we do a pitch event, pitch practice, pitch training, as well as story making. We do whole marketing strategy, financial strategy, and we continue to have you meet very high visible, influential advisors here at Silicon Valley for 101 session. We also do some field trip to visit, cool places that you usually won't get to go. So we evolved quite a bit. You didn't have that kind of candy store visit.
It was still amazing, let me tell you.
So yeah, so those are all the skills you'll have, and network that you can continue to tap into after you leave the program.
Yeah, I have felt that I could email or call any of the people that supported Women's Startup Lab, and I know the network's even grown at any time when I had a problem or needed advice. So you might leave with all of this stuff, but then when it's time that you're executing your growth strategy or something, you can reach back in and get some additional support. So it really is an end-to-end solution for getting a company on the success track.
Yeah, and I don't know if I mentioned, but out of the over 40 company graduate, one winning 500, Y Combinator, and several of them continue to raise fund, the Series A, and the 2 already had an exit. So it's pretty awesome lineup. So I hope you join and tap into our network. Now, Krista's mentioning that we have some question.
There's a few questions, yes.
Great. Okay.
So one of the questions to Ari is like, why should I join the 2-week program or the 2-month program? What would be the difference for me?
So we all had some thoughts to begin with. We wanted to have this long committed 2-3 months program. And then we found out that so many of folks that said, I already have a very successful company. I have an employee in a company to manage, and I have 2 kids. Even though I love to be in your program, but I can't do 2 months. So we decided to launch 2 weeks, and it's been incredible success. Again, our value is not about just the 2 weeks. It's lifelong connections and network. As a matter of fact, if you're a graduate, you can come back to our program and take and participate in any of our classes for free, as long as the space is available. So, 2 weeks is for the people who just can't be away from home that long. And that program's available for both early stage female entrepreneur and her team. So men are welcome too, really. And then 2 months program for those who really want to put the network out there here in the Silicon Valley. So they built the company, they're looking for launching further network here in the Silicon Valley. So they have offices here in the Menlo Park. and the support structure, and then you can continue to learn and apply, and getting a continuous advising session. So you don't just get jammed in the head and then go home and you don't know, okay, I don't remember how to use the tool, but it's like, okay, I got it. Let me try it. Okay, I tinker and then move on to the next tool. You get to do that with a 2 months program. So it's really up to you what works for you, and then what is your next step. So I hope that explained. Oh, okay.
So the next question here is that there's so many of these other programs where I don't need to pay anything. Why should I pay for this program?
Yes, I love that question because when you are not paying, you are paying a lot more money by giving up your equity. So that's one part, that it's a cash or giving part of your company. Cash, you pay, you are done with. It's a mutual relationship. You continue to have a relationship with us, with an advisor, because we want to support each other. Now, equity, we and an advisor, investor, they become a part of it, rest of life, the partner. So, we also talk about who do you want to give equity, because they own part of your company. And sometimes the company so early on, they're not quite mature exactly what they want to do. So giving equities might not be the option. And some people obviously understand how the math works. Paying off is much easier and it's faster. So we provide the option because we really want to support the female entrepreneur. So when you look at the bigger picture, you have a choice of sometimes giving up your equity because you can't give the cash, or you can pay to go through. Now, if you go out there and going through other accelerator, they are willing to give you seed fund, and you're willing to depart with some equity. I think that's your choice. But often, many of us, and I have to say myself too, when I had my own startup, I thought I was really far along. I thought I was ready for 500 startup and all that stuff. But now I look back, the bigger picture of the whole startup, I was like teeny weeny baby then. Right. So I often see that so many startup founders think that they're ready for getting funding. But the truth is, nobody's chasing you. Investors are not charitable people. They want to make the money. So the fact that they're saying, let's see, come back when you hit the milestone, they're saying no. And they want to make money. And if you have what they want, they're begging you to take money, right?
Yep.
You have seen that happening to you. Yep, they're fighting to have her take the money. Yep. And so if that's not happening, the chance of you getting the accelerator, the truly interested in helping you to grow, you have to question yourself, what is my value, right? And investors are not chasing. You can continue to work through your startup, climbing a hard mountain with hammer, building houses, or you said, I'm going to put X amount of money, actually fraction of the cost of what would really take the level of the advisor you have access here. It's a truly amazing investment.
Well, I also think that what's so unique here is it doesn't feel like a machine. A lot of these accelerators are just like churning out companies and, okay, now go off. It's truly a network that cares. I mean, Ari has pulled together people that are passionate about a woman entrepreneur succeeding. So that doesn't mean I want this equity to be worth something. I want, it's a different level of commitment. It's like helping us succeed in business. It's been, the glass ceiling has been going on too long, and Ari is here to break it with us. So, it's a very different approach to supporting the female entrepreneur.
Yeah. And when's the last time you have spent, let's say, $10,000 for vacations or couch? Mm-hmm. And when you spend some of the tuition amount, you are getting ongoing support from us the rest of your life, as long as we stay. Yeah. And the instructor you meet are not easy. Even if you're here in the Silicon Valley 10 years, the people we bring in, you don't have access to. But we bring those people to you. And when you're in our program, only 8 to maybe the max of 20 people. I mean, you get that much attention. And people, willing to be in that position, and they spend 8 months, 2 years to access to those advisors. So I think it's nothing wrong with you keeping cash to putting into your product, and I think you should do that when you're at the stage. But one of the most important things that I hear about the issue with women is we are really scared of making investment. Men will just put it out the money to get an opportunity, and I don't think it's black and white, but we often hesitant about giving a bet for something that it comes back over and over and over. And the people who truly care about your growth, it's not about 2 weeks program. It's about the lifelong community that you have access to. Just like,
and it's really about investing in ourselves. I mean, I think women tend to be givers more, and at some point you got to stop and say, hey, I'm worth it, and I'm pouring my life into this business, and I need to be smart about where I invest. And I have to say, over the years of me doing startups, I've spent thousands of dollars here and thousands of dollars here and hundreds of thousands in this program and that program, and within the company structure. And had I, met Ari, and this would have been in place, 10, 20 years ago when I was starting, I mean, it would have made a huge difference in, mistakes I made, learnings I had to go through. I mean, now I feel completely power tooled up to move forward. And I've been at this, this is my 5th startup, and I've been an entrepreneur since the early 90s. So I can't reinforce enough. I'm getting so excited. I want to go into the 2-week program. So
you're always welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
So, yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for spending a time with us. Whether you're going to join us or not, Women Startup Lab and all those advisors, we just want to see you out there kicking ass. So, please continue to support other female entrepreneurs. And I hope you will take a journey with us, and we would like to take a journey with you. And anytime you get to the point, just to reach out to us, and hopefully I get to see your face. I didn't get to do that today. So
thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.